All right, listeners, ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling the world of sports coaching, but not just any coaching. We're going all the way back to the basics, focusing on foundation level participants.
That's right. We're talking about those first-timers, the rookies hitting the field or court for the very first time.
And to guide us through this journey, we've got our trusty companion, the SISSSCO001 Learner Guide. It's packed with insights on best practices for coaching beginners.
Exactly. Think of it as our coaching playbook for today.
Now, when we say foundation level participants, what exactly are we talking about? Are we picturing like little kids just starting out in Pee Wee soccer?
Yeah, pretty much think of it as the starting line of an athlete's journey, those first steps. They could be young kids in PE class or even adults giving a new sport a shot for the first time.
So it's all about building those core skills, the fundamentals, right?
Absolutely. It's not about creating elite athletes overnight. The focus is on having fun, developing those basic skills, and instilling a lifelong love for sports and movement.
Makes sense. Now, one thing that jumped out at me from the guide was the emphasis on assistant coaching. Why is there so much focus on the sidekick and not the head coach?
Well, the assistant coach is kind of like the unsung hero of any sports program. They wear a lot of hats, setting up equipment, leading drills, keeping those participants engaged, and even sometimes, dealing with a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, and get this, the guide even mentions assistant coaches being in charge of snacks.
It's true.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by the snack logistics, but hey, properly fueled athletes perform better, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, the guide really stresses the importance of pre-session prep. It's like they're channeling my mom reminding me to pack my cleats before every game.
And just like remembering your cleats, that pre-session prep makes a world of difference. Seriously, imagine showing up to coach without a plan. You don't know what drills to run, the equipment's missing. It's a recipe for disaster.
That sounds stressful.
Exactly. So, step one, confirm your role with the head coach. Make sure you're both on the same page about your responsibilities. Then dive into that session plan. Understand the goals, the drills, the overall flow.
No showing up clueless.
Right. And speaking of not being clueless, the guide really hammers home the importance of checking equipment for wear and tear. Safety first, always.
Absolutely. You don't want a loose basketball hoop falling on anyone.
Exactly. You're responsible for making sure the equipment is in good condition. Report any issues to the head coach before things get out of hand.
Okay, so we've got our pregame ritual down. Now let's step onto the field and talk about conducting the session itself. I imagine communication is key here, especially when you're dealing with foundation-level athletes.
You hit the nail on the head. It's like you're speaking a different language, athlete, if you will. And the guide breaks down some effective communication styles for coaches, starting with demonstrations.
The good old show don't tell approach.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, a lot of these participants are visual learners. Seeing you perform that perfect tennis serve or that smooth soccer dribble, it just clicks for them better than just hearing about it.
It's funny you mentioned that I'm a visual learner myself. I got to see things to really understand them.
Absolutely. Demonstrations are super important. But the guide also points out that not every athlete learns the same way. Some are auditory learners, some are kinesthetic learners. It's like having a toolbox full of different communication strategies, and you got to figure out which one works best for each individual.
So it's like a coaching puzzle. You got to find the right pieces.
Yeah, it's a fun challenge figuring out how to connect with each athlete. Now, besides demonstrations, the guide also talks about cues, feedback, and instructions.
Okay, so instead of giving a long-winded explanation about proper form, you'd use short, clear cues and feedback.
Exactly. And keep that language simple. No need to overwhelm them with technical jargon. And don't forget about your own body language and tone of voice. Enthusiasm is contagious, but sometimes you might need a calmer approach depending on the situation.
It's all about reading the room, reading the athlete. And of course, we can't forget about safety during the session itself.
Right. We've talked about checking equipment, but explaining how to use it properly is just as important, especially when it comes to things like helmets and mouth guards. Don't just hand them out. Take a minute to explain why they matter.
Yeah, make it fun. And with putting on all that gear as a kid, I felt like a superhero.
Exactly. Make safety cool, and the kids will be more likely to buy into it.
I love that safety is a superpower.
Yeah.
What else do we need to keep in mind for safety during the session?
Well, the guide is very clear about warm-up and cool-down activities. They're non-negotiable. Not just for injury prevention, but also for building healthy habits that'll benefit these athletes for years to come.
It's like laying the foundation for a lifetime of movement. Of course, we've got to talk about the rules.
Of course. Following the rules, using protective equipment, staying hydrated, it's all part of creating a safe and enjoyable experience for everyone. Now, let's face it, every coach at some point has to deal with challenging behavior. It's just part of the game.
Yeah, it's like that saying, if you build it, they will come. If you run a coaching session, challenging behavior will eventually find you.
Haha, that's one way to put it. But seriously, every coach will encounter it at some point. The key is having strategies to handle those tricky moments.
So give us the inside scoop. How do we navigate those situations?
Well, first of all, choose your battles. Ignore minor misbehavior that doesn't disrupt the session. It's not worth derailing the entire practice over a little side chatter.
Save your energy for the real troublemakers.
Exactly. And when you do need to address a behavior, think positive reinforcement first. Catch them doing something right and praise them for it.
I like that. But what about those kids who just don't respond to the nice guy routine?
Well, sometimes you got to be more direct. Issue a clear and firm verbal reprimand, but avoid yelling or putting them down.
It's about setting boundaries, not crushing spirits.
Right. And if a behavior keeps happening, you might need to implement consequences like timeouts. But always remember, safety and well-being are paramount. If a situation feels outside your scope of responsibility or you're just not sure how to handle it, don't hesitate to loop in your supervisor.
Makes sense. Better to ask for help than make the wrong call. We've covered a lot of ground here: pre-session prep, conducting the session, handling those inevitable behavior moments. What's next on our deep dive into foundation-level coaching?
Well, next we'll shift our focus to wrapping up the session like a pro, and then we'll dive into some post-game analysis.
Sounds good. We'll be back in a flash to continue our exploration.
Don't go anywhere, deep diver.
And we're back. Deep divers, still exploring the ins and outs of coaching those foundation-level athletes. We've prepped for the session, we've run our drills, we've even tackled some tricky behavior moments, but now it's time to wrap things up.
Exactly. The session's winding down, the energy's still high, but we need a smooth transition to the finish line.
The guide talks about getting feedback from participants, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just asking, did you have fun?
You got it. We want to dig a little deeper, get those valuable insights that'll help you plan even better sessions in the future.
So what kind of questions should we be asking?
Well, you could ask things like, what worked well for you today? Or what are you still finding challenging? Or even, what could we do differently next time?
So we're basically turning these young athletes into feedback machines.
In a way, yeah, but it's got to feel natural, like a normal part of the session. And don't forget to share those insights with the head coach. It keeps everyone on the same page.
Makes sense. Feedback noted. What else is on that wrap-up checklist?
Well, if there are follow-up sessions planned, this is a good time to give the participants a little preview, get them excited about what's coming next.
Keep that momentum going.
Exactly. And just like we did before the session, it's time for another equipment check. Make sure everything's still in tip-top shape, no new cracks or wobbly parts.
Safety first, always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then comes the less glamorous but equally important part, packing up. All the equipment resources, any leftover snacks, everything gets organized and put away according to your organization's guidelines.
No one wants to be the coach who leaves a trail of orange peels and empty water bottles.
Definitely not. A little respect for the space goes a long way.
Oh.
Okay, so we've prepped, we've coached, we've wrapped things up like pros. What's the next play in our deep dive?
Well, the session might be over, but the learning never stops. It's time for some post-game analysis.
Exactly. It's coach reflection time. A chance to review, analyze, and figure out how we can level up our game. Even the most experienced coaches are always looking for ways to improve.
Okay, so we're coach of the coaches now.
You could say that, and a big part of this is getting feedback. Not just from the athletes, but from your supervisor, too. Multiple perspectives can really help you see the bigger picture.
So it's more than just a quick, good job, or let's try this differently chat after the session.
Yeah, be intentional about it. Schedule a time to chat with your supervisor. Consider feedback forms for the participants.
It's kind of like those teacher evaluations we used to do in school.
Exactly. And remember, both positive and constructive feedback are valuable. It helps you identify your strengths and areas where you can improve.
So it's not about dwelling on mistakes, but using them as opportunities to grow.
Exactly. The Learner Guide really emphasizes the importance of self-reflection. Take some time to think about the feedback you've received, your own observations during the session. What went well? What could you have done differently?
It's like a personal coaching debrief. But some people might find this part a little intimidating. Are there any ways to make self-reflection more approachable?
Oh, absolutely. Some coaches find it helpful to journal after each session. Just jot down some thoughts and observations.
A coaching diary?
Exactly. Others prefer to chat with a mentor or a fellow coach. Bouncing ideas off someone you trust can be really helpful. And some coaches even record themselves coaching.
Wait, like they videotape themselves.
Yep. It might feel a little awkward at first, But video self-analysis can really help you see yourself from a different perspective. You might notice things you wouldn't have otherwise.
I never thought about using video for self-reflection. That's a really interesting idea. I can see how that would be super helpful, especially for new coaches.
It can be really eye-opening. So what I'm hearing you say is it's not just about being a good coach during the session. It's about this constant cycle of learning, feedback, and reflection.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's like leveling up your coaching skills.
Exactly. And the best part is all that effort you put into self-improvement, it directly benefits the athletes. They get a more knowledgeable, more effective, and more engaging coach.
Talk about a win-win. Now, speaking of winning, we've got one more part to our deep dive into the world of foundation-level coaching.
We'll be right back with some final insights and key takeaways. Stick with us, deep divers.
And we're back for the final stretch of our deep dive into foundation-level coaching. We've prepped for the session, run those drills, dealt with some challenging behavior, and even taken some time for self-reflection. But now it's time to shift our focus to the specific responsibilities that come with being an assistant coach.
Yeah.
It's more than just fetching water and offering high fives, right?
Absolutely. You're a vital part of the coaching team, and the learner guide outlines some key behaviors that make a good assistant coach truly great.
So what's at the top of the list? What makes an assistant coach stand out?
Well, first and foremost, it's about creating that positive and encouraging environment. Remember, these are beginners. They need a space where they feel comfortable trying new things, making mistakes, and just having fun.
It's like those coaches I had growing up who were always so supportive, even when I messed up.
Exactly. That kind of positive energy can make all the difference for those young athletes.
So encouragement is key.
Mhm.
What else is important?
Using appropriate language is crucial. You got to remember, you're not coaching seasoned professionals. Keep those instructions clear and simple. Avoid confusing jargon, and always make sure your language is age appropriate.
No need to explain the infield fly rule to a bunch of 6-year-olds.
Exactly. And another seemingly small detail that can have a big impact: punctuality. Being on time shows respect for everyone's time and sets a good example.
It's all about building those good habits on and off the field. Any other must-have behaviors the guide mentions?
We've already talked about self-reflection, but the guide really emphasizes it as an ongoing process.
Yeah.
A good assistant coach is always looking for ways to improve, whether it's by asking the head coach for feedback, observing other coaches, or just taking some time for self-assessment.
It's that lifelong learner mindset applied to coaching.
Exactly. The more you learn and grow as a coach, the better you'll be able to guide those foundation-level athletes.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious what's resonated with you the most during this exploration of coaching.
You know what's really struck me is just how much more there is to coaching than I initially thought. It's not just about teaching skills. It's about creating this whole environment where young athletes can thrive. And that takes preparation, clear communication, constant self-reflection, and a genuine passion for helping others grow.
You've hit the nail on the head. And even if you're not a coach yourself, you can still play a huge role in supporting young athletes. Whether it's cheering from the sidelines, volunteering your time, or just encouraging the young athletes in your life, every bit of support makes a difference.
Absolutely. Well said. And that brings our deep dive into the world of foundation-level coaching to a close. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and maybe even learned a few things along the way. Until next time, deep divers.